Living in his son's sleep-out is not how Mike Ledingham wants to spend his later years, but he's in limbo, waiting for compensation.
I'm running out of years.
Abused by the local Catholic priest as a boy, the whole course of his life was altered. He wishes he was able to be educated.
Of course, you hate school, you know, when there's a paedophile around. I've got arthritis of the neck from looking around to see where he was, you know.
To date, he's been paid out $90,000 by the Catholic Church. He was the first survivor of faith-based abuse to give evidence to the Royal Commission 5 years ago. And still, he waits for the government.
Because no one likes giving away money. It's easy, like churches will pray for you, but that's about all you'll get out of them. Governments will give you an apology rather than give you money. That's my impression.
Tomorrow, Ledingham and tens of thousands of others will get an apology, but no update on a redress scheme. So he'll be outside Parliament protesting.
I appreciate that for people tomorrow, they would love to have all the answers, and I would too. But the reality is that we need to work through a very complex set of recommendations.
And to me, a hollow apology with nothing done is a bit of a shambles, you know.
3 News understands the minister in charge has canvassed a number of options for a redress scheme with ministers, but they haven't greenlit any in time for tomorrow's apology.
There are a range of ongoing conversations. Eligibility is obviously one of them.
I suppose the proof is in the pudding. You can say all you like, but until you put those actions in line with those words, nothing's going to change.
Well, the Royal Commission on Abuse and State Care was only released in July. An interim report was released in 2021 which made sweeping recommendations about a redress scheme. The inquiry's final report expressed it was deeply concerned about not having one in place. It noted survivors had died waiting.
You know, up front around the financial redress and compensation part, that, you know, there is frankly no amount of money that makes any of this okay for any of the survivors, but let's acknowledge that. Parliament
will be packed. Survivors were drawn from a ballot to witness the apology in person. It will also be screened at official events in Auckland, Wellington and Christchurch and broadcast on Parliament TV. Aaron Small is an investigative journalist who's covered abuse and care for the last 8 years.
Oliver Southland was uncovering this back in the 1970s. And yet we're only starting to acknowledge it now. Why? Well, the reason is because all of this long line of people have basically gone out of their way, spent taxpayer money covering it up.
He initially had his application to cover the apology denied by Parliament's Speaker. Late this afternoon, that decision was overturned.
They were perhaps uncomfortable with the level of knowledge that I had and didn't want some of the questions that I was asking to be asked.
Well, no, I don't think it's about tough questions. It's actually about some other issues which were raised with the media outlet directly themselves.
Tomorrow will be a sombre occasion. One by one, heads of government agencies will stand and apologise to survivors before the Prime Minister delivers the national apology. While a redress scheme hasn't yet been agreed upon, today the government unveiled a suite of law changes aimed at further protecting children in care, including stopping the use of strip searches for children in care and closing a loophole that has allowed New Zealanders with overseas convictions to keep working with children.
There's lots of things to be very, very proud about in New Zealand's history, but we also have to confront the ugliness in it as well, and this is one of those moments. One of those moments that will be etched into our history.